Every choice we make creates a consequence. The action has an effect, which in turn creates a multitude of branching possibilities. But the part of the choice that was denied leaves a huge question. What if? What would have happened if you decided to go the other way? Would the future change? Could be as simple as turning left or right, or as complicated as which numbers to choose in a random sequence. Did you ever regret the food you picked on the menu, wishing you went with your second or third choice? Did you ever wish you shared your true feelings with someone before your friendship faded away? What about your parents? Think about what would have happened had they made different choices. You may not even exist. Of course, you do have theories for the multiverse, where decisions like this can create dimensions. In your physics, there's a string theory, but even that has two opposing viewpoints. One states there can be endless dimensions, and the other states there is a limited number. But one important aspect isn't taken into account. If one dimension and the choices within it can create other ones, then all dimensions would have the same possibilities. This means the limitations themselves are only bound to the one world, but when combined it gives the illusion of endless worlds. Of course, these worlds can be created and destroyed as well, and this is where we stand now, in an endless chain of events that began during the first days of the war between light and shadow. The first universe had two opposites, Obscitans and Abyssus and the Elders. The war between them to control the universe and mold it into their own visions created choices, and this is how yours and our universes were even created. Both believed that this needed to be controlled, but the way to do so differs. The Elders call the first universe the bubble. This is because it is delicate, and too much stress from the outside could cause it to burst. Obscitans and Abyssus called it the master universe. To them, controlling the one universe would give the power to destroy everything else, and create it once more in their vision. Chaos that left only darkness. The Elders realized that with Obscitans and Abyssus, balance could never survive, and this would lead to the end of everything. Without light, the world would be cold and desolate, the dream of shadows. Before an order of light to exist, the other dimensions needed to have worthy beings to uphold the laws and to properly fight chaos. 9 other races were created to lead under the Elders. The Dream Priests in your world and the Aes Sídhe in ours were 2 of those other races. But the hierarchy matters. While the Dream Priests were important, they were lower on the pyramid. The reason? Humans. Your universe has been at the center of thousands of other dimensions. Humans continually change their minds and go against their feelings. They choose for love, for greed, for pleasure, for pain, for the good of others, and for the good of the one. The Dream Priests were taught to preserve the life, especially on Earth, because it actually helped balance everything, the good and the bad together. Obscitans and Abyssus knew this and came to your world in a future that doesn't even exist anymore. The Elders used a group of humans to change the outcome, saving 2 worlds. The dark future will become a new dimension, and while you will return to Earth with Obscitans and Abyssus trapped in it, knowing your universe would be doomed, but preserving the others. The Elders' plan didn't work. The dark secret of the Dream Priests having one of its own split into 2 beings, and for that member to be part Elder, it was enough to help the shadows open a new rift. We are the Aes Sídhe, and our universe is known as the Gateway. Its power lies in controlling the cracks and openings to other worlds and limiting their scope. But when Obscitans and Abyssus crashed through, a new plan emerged. Control the gateway, widen the rifts, make all worlds unstable in the implosion and lead to the destruction of the Order of Light, and allow the shadows to rule their master universe. The Aes Sídhe are number 3 on the pyramid, and I am Queen Mab, ruler of the fairies, and of the Gateway. There are portals that are created as universes expand and dimensions appear. We simply help to control these in order to keep worlds apart. We can also close the portals, though the energy tends to leave scars. When Obscitans and Abyssus caused the schism to create the Sídhe and Unseelie, those of us not corrupted protected me in order to keep our true power from falling into the hands of the Shadow's minions. After the schism, both of us have limited powers, so portals are in a state of flux. If I was captured and controlled, all portals would open and worlds would collide. But due to us hiding and waiting, more and more gateways are opening up. More dimensions are colliding with each other. Beings are able to walk through them, which in turn creates more choices and more dimensions. And the Unseelie are using these portals to harness energies throughout space and time. The more they destroy, the potential left behind is consumed. This allows them to get closer to their ultimate goal, the release of evils that we were able to imprison. Beasts exist in the space between worlds, a void with demons and godlike creatures. Ralalazath was one who was in the void between your world and ours, but there are far worse creatures. Ellen Trekend is one of them, and the Unseelie wants to release it in order to destroy our barrier and capture me. We must fight back soon, or all will be lost. And this is where you come in, Mario. Your mother was an elder who realized they were so caught up in the war that they were going against their own teachings. The elders were using tactics of the shadows, using others for their own gain. Your mother would leave the Order of Light and fell in love with a dream priest who knew something was wrong. They were exiled and left you behind to the dream priests. But no one knew you really had elder blood. No one knew that was even possible. Your true powers must now be unlocked in order to free us and reverse the schism. You must open your mind and allow me to unlock your potential. Your human friends are also tied to this war. Fitted, seeing that the choices they make affect far more than they can even imagine. But only you can guide them. Only you can help them break free from the dreams. Only you can prepare them for the battles to come.
Welcome to the quest for the Green Ball! Òrdugh Truaillidh! Trends are still difficult to gauge after 4 weeks of play, and we still have wild fluctuations with points without much consistency. We're now entering the bye-week phase of the season as well, and this lasts all the way until the end of the season, week 14 for some players. So planning and roster management becomes even more important as the season progresses here. Injuries will also continue to happen, so depth will be key. The league is very close in terms of record. Getting hot now could go a long way in cementing a place in the playoffs. There are no more undefeated teams, so perfection is not achievable this season, and only one game separates 9 of us, with all 3 division leaders and 1 other squad at 3-1. How did we get here? Well, let's start with last week's as the Clash at Demonhead traveled to take on Air Jordan at the Caves of Bròn Dìomhair. Some monstrous games on both teams, including one on the bench, really set the stage for this one as the Clash at Demonhead secured the road victory, 120 to 99.34 for a second straight win. Air Jordan, who's the last winless team in the league, is now in must-win territory for the rest of the year, but things could have been different. Air Jordan went heavy on the Packers, which meant buying into the defense that scored just 1 point, and benching David Montgomery, who went off for 141 yards and 3 touchdowns on the bench. Putting in Montgomery over Javonte Williams would have equaled a win. Instead, it was the Josh Allen, Isaiah Pacheco, and Mark Andrews show for the Clash at Demonhead. As expected, Allen was in a shootout in Miami and went off 320 passing yards, 17 rushing yards, and 5 touchdowns. Stephon Diggs did reap the benefits of 120 yards and 3 touchdowns for Air Jordan, but those 2 extra scores definitely hurt. Andrews had 80 yards and 2 scores, and Pacheco roughed up the Jets with 158 yards and a touchdown for the Clash at Demonhead. One other note is that Air Jordan did get a boost from highlighted player Brandon Ayuk, who had 148 yards and 6 targets, but Christian McCaffrey vultured most of the touchdowns for the 49ers. Ayuk did outduel Amari Cooper on the other side, who was left with a backup quarterback throwing to him when Deshaun Watson was ruled out on Sunday morning. Cooper only caught 1 of 6 targets for a measly 16 yards. But that just wasn't enough for Air Jordan.
The Clash at Demonhead is here, and I escaped the Caves of Bròn Dìomhair, made it through with hope. This was a must-win situation here. I had a lot of stuff going on over the weekend, and I was actually at Lambeau Thursday night, so I was actually worried that I forgot to set up my lineup, but I did. And it's just been a great, exciting season so far. I went from 11th to 6th place. Very great week for Josh Allen, my QB, Pacheco, one of my RBs, and then my tight end, Mark Andrews. So I'm just ready for Monday Night Football in Las Vegas, and I really enjoyed Sweet Life at the Packer game, and Lil Wayne was 2 suites down from me, but I did not get to meet him. But really proud of my team this week, and ready for the next game of the week.
And now Air Jordan must act like every week is an elimination one, because it just might be. Some good news, though, is that he's only 2 games back of most teams ahead of him. One hot stretch, and he could easily be back in the playoff race. And the other matchups from last week may have given him a little hope. I mean, right? Gotta get a little hope. Let's learn about it in the best of the rest. Defending champion Elite Mother Tuckers hosted 2-time champion Loki Lebowski Thor, and the Elite Mother Tuckers are glad that the A.J. Brown trade didn't go through, as they won 124.08 to 82.46. Brown finished with 175 yards and 2 scores, including a 50-plus yard touchdown. Josh Jacobs also finally came alive with 139 yards and a score, and the Ravens' defense bullied a backup QB with 4 sacks and 3 picks. Justin Herbert had 2 rushing touchdowns to save a mediocre game as well. Jalen Hurts led Lebowski Thor, though both touchdowns went to Brown, and Justin Jefferson showed off his skills again with 85 yards and 2 touchdowns. But the wrong defense cost Lebowski Thor 21 points. The Elite Mother Tuckers are finally in the win column as both teams are now 1-3. My Gosh Sleuths hosted the Siamese Dreamcats with the Golden Cat necklace on the line in a rivalry game, and my Sleuths came away with a 117.88 to 61.96 beatdown. Justin Fields finally came alive with 335 passing yards and 4 touchdowns to go with 25 rushing yards, and Derrick Henry went beast with 133 yards and 2 touchdowns, including a passing score. But the main story here is Devon Achane dropping another 120 yards and 2 more touchdowns as the waiver pickup of the week. Besides the CeeDee Lamb touchdown, it really is a week to forget for the Dreamcats as they couldn't hold on to the Golden Cat necklace after winning it last year. Both teams are now 2-2. Risky Business hosted the multiple scoregasms and got back to his winning ways in a 134.2 to 98.78 win. It was all about 3 players, the Cowboys defense, Anthony Richardson, and a monster game by Christian McCaffrey. McCaffrey had 178 yards and 4 touchdowns for a beast performance, 41.7 points to be exact. Richardson had 200 passing yards, 56 rushing yards, and 3 scores, and the Cowboys defense once again went off for 2 touchdowns, 2 sacks, 2 picks, and a fumble recovery. James Cook and Amon-Ra St. Brown both scored for the scoregasms, and kicker Jake Elliott had 4 field goals, including a 50-plus yarder, but it wasn't enough to rival the big 3 of Risky Business. Risky Business moves to 3-1, and the scoregasms fall to 2-2. Bandidos del Rio is not undefeated anymore after the visiting Remember the Titans pulled off an 88.54 to 67.92 win. Lamar Jackson had 4 touchdowns, and Puka Nacua had 163 yards and his first career touchdown to lead Remember the Titans. The lone bright spot in a tough week for Bandidos was a touchdown by Kenneth Walker. One note is that Deebo Samuel didn't even come close to Ayuk production for Remember the Titans with just 6 rushing yards. Ouch. Both teams are now 3-1. Finally, in one of the biggest shockers of the week, Green Acres went on the road to the Purple Skies at Daché and barely won in a 62.6 to 53.6 win over the Stellar Bitches. The Stellar Bitches were the top scoring team in the league in weeks 2 and 3, but reverted back to week 1 numbers in a surprise performance. But Green Acres was also doing well this season and was lucky to come away with a win with this dud. Kyrene Williams got back to his scoring ways, and his 2 touchdowns were clearly the difference. Tyreek Hill surprisingly struggled, and Geno Smith was held to just 1 score. Mostert struggled for Miami and the Stellar Bitches after back-to-back top non-quarterback awards, but Bijan Robinson did have 137 yards, and Keenan Allen and Dalton Schultz did score touchdowns. In the end, all that matters is the win or the loss. Green Acres is 3-1, and the Stellar Bitches fall to 2-2. These results can be humbling from week to week, as it's impossible to truly predict the oddities and monster games that could occur. It shows that with 10 matches left in the regular season, no one is safe, and nothing is ever claimed or clinched until it actually is. Next week looks to be another good one, with all but 1 match featuring teams separated by just 1 game in the overall standings. We'll go over those and the next game of the week tomorrow as we visit Cascade Isle. Before you go, check out the standings after 4 weeks. Until next time, salut.